Hey, how are you all today? Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith, and I'm going to tell you how Ron DeSantis just blew it. He came out and he announced today that is running for the presidency. I was going to make one here pretty soon, warning everyone that there is a good chance that Biden will be reelected. Nobody can believe that. Everybody would say, Steve, how can you possibly say anything like that? How can you even put that into words? Well, I'll tell you, because I'm old enough to remember Bill Clinton being reelected when nobody thought he could be because of all of his problems. I remember when Obama was reelected when nobody thought that he could be because of all of his problems. And I would not be surprised if Biden gets reelected. And you know what? It doesn't necessarily have to do with what many. I have to be careful how I phrase this. I think I'm going to do a separate one for Rumble because I can tell the truth on Rumble. I can't tell the truth on here. Right now, this has a greater reach than Rumble, but so I'll put this on here, and then I'll probably in the next day or so put a different one on Rumble and put that one on Patreon, see how that works out, okay? But it's not necessarily because of what many people have claimed went on. It has to do with the ignorance of the American voter, the selfishness of the American voter, and the fact that Republicans will fight each other to the death and damage each other, and everybody wants to have their little piece of the pie, to whereas the Democrats will hang together. Yeah, they'll run against each other. They'll have their debates and all that. But when it comes down to brass tacks, they will vote as a block, and that's why they win. And Republicans don't. You get a Republican to be just a little bit off of a person, and they won. I'm going to explain to you how DeSantis now, and I used to like DeSantis. I thought his time was coming. I thought his time was coming in 28, not in 24, and it would have been. He is now assured that he will not only not get it in 24, he will not get it in 28. I'm going to explain that to you. We have one fighter on the right, and it's this guy. And I don't care who doesn't like how he talks or how he tweets or what he did in his personal life. He did more for this country than any president since Ronald Reagan, and I would argue, and as much as I love Reagan, he might have done more. And if you need me to itemize those things, then you haven't been paying attention, and I couldn't convince you anyway. And so I'm not going to try to convince those who are determined to remain uninformed. Inform yourself. Okay? That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about reclaiming America. We talk about America needs a reversion. Trump talks about make America great again. He says take our country back. That's right. That's what we need to be doing. And if you can't get your teeth into that and your arms around that, you're nothing but a middle of the roader. Okay, simple as that. And you may as well be a voting for Hillary or Biden, whoever else comes up. If you don't have the brains and the cojones to stand up and say, we're going to fight for something and we're going to do this, then you're the problem. Let me just be blunt about that. Let me explain something about DeSantis. He thought it was his time. Now, DeSantis is okay in many ways. He's done a lot of good things for Florida. First off, we need him to stay in Florida and keep doing the things that he's doing in Florida. Okay? But here's the problem. He has shown his true stripes. He was losing in Florida as governor until Trump came in and backed him up. And then he won. And it's a good thing. Good for Trump, good for DeSantis doing what he did. But he owed that victory to Trump. And for him to get into this race now, it's a betrayal. It's nothing short of a betrayal of the man who got him in. Everybody looks at him as solid and non-controversial and family values and all that. Does that remind you of anybody? How about a guy named Mike Pence, also a person without any personality? Okay, I'm not going to shortchange them for what they did as governors. They did good jobs as governors, and that's where DeSantis needed to stay for another 4 years. If he had stayed for another 4 years, he might have been on the ticket, and a winning ticket in 28, maybe running as the vice presidential partner of Kristi Noem. Okay, keeping up with me? So that's one thing. I think the guy's a snake. He betrayed the man who got him in, and here's what's going to be the result. He also probably assured Biden's reelection. And if he is that stuck on himself, or maybe he was paid off, I don't know. Here's what's going to happen. Now Trump is going to start attacking him. That's what Trump does. He attacks his enemy. How about that? What a concept that is. Attack your enemies. That's why he wins. That's why he was able to do all the things he did for our country in the 4 years with everybody fighting against him. Not just the Democrats, but most of his own party, the complete Department of Justice, the FBI, everybody in the world, and he still got things done. I tell you, that is a leader. That is a leader. But here's what's going to happen. DeSanctimonious is running. Trump's going to attack him. Now, whether or not they have debates, because Trump will chew him up. By the way, I want to slip something in here. I've heard people say, well, you know, DeSantis, he's a fighter. He was a SEAL. He wasn't a SEAL, guys. I have heard that so often. He wasn't a SEAL. He was a JAG officer. He was in the Navy. He was a JAG officer. He was assigned to be the legal advisor to a SEAL team in Iraq. That doesn't make him a SEAL. And even if he was a SEAL, so what? Look at Dan Crenshaw. Okay? That doesn't carry any weight with me at all. I don't care about his military career. I care about the fact that he dumped on the guy who supported him. He's a real number two. Or maybe I'll start calling him a number two, because that's what I see him as now. And I liked him. I liked him up until today. But here's what's going to happen. Trump is going to attack him. He's already started saying bad things, not by name, about Trump. That's the way he is. He's kind of sneaky. Trump comes right out and lets you know how he feels about people. And that's going to turn off so many people who would have voted for Trump. That's going to turn off so many people. Just like last time, they won't vote for Trump, even though they know he's better, because they don't like the way he talks. And they won't like the way that he talked about number two, DeSantis. So they won't vote. That puts Biden back in for a second term. That's what the danger is. That's very possibly what will happen. So the fight is on. DeSantis, if we lose, I'm not a Republican, but I consider myself an American as opposed to the communists. If America loses, that means if Trump loses this election in 24, you can blame it on DeSantis. And it's too bad, because what it would be the great thing in this one would be Trump, Noem. No, Trump, Kristi Noem. And then DeSantis can come in, not as president. Noem should come in, and DeSantis should be her vice presidential running mate. You want something historical? How about that? Yeah. Well, I guess Hillary and that idiot from Virginia already did that, didn't they? But they didn't win. And I think Kristi Noem and DeSantis could win if he had just settled down and not gotten ahead of himself. Guys, that's the truth. That's what's going to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll probably put one up over on Rumble tomorrow where I can say a little bit more about what I really think, and I'll put it down here where you can come over to Rumble. I already have a lot of people following me over there on Rumble. Great to have you all. It's still new. I'm still getting used to it, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it because already I'm looking forward to saying what I can't say on YouTube. Remember, America needs a reversion. It needs a revival. It needs to go back the way it was supposed to be. There's only one man who can do it. There's only one man who has stood up under all of the, well, you know, should we get Shakespearean, the slings and arrows? That's Trump. And DeSantis just may have blown the whole thing. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.